You're watching The Breakfast Club.
Morning, everybody. It's DJ Envy, Angela Yee, Charlamagne the guy. We are The Breakfast Club. We got a special guest in the building.
Little Kev the bastard is here.
Kevin Hart. we got to thank him for the chairs because Kev actually bought us chairs.
I did buy chairs.
He bought us chairs.
I did buy chairs. They took forever, but it wasn't my fault.
I know he felt awkward coming back up here until the chairs came.
I was like, I'm not coming back till the chairs come.
Well, thank you for the chairs.
You damn right.
They're little chairs. They don't go that high, though.
They're little chairs on purpose.
Everybody always comes in here and says they don't adjust height. I'm like,
That's
Kevin
good.
Hart bought those.
That's what I did it so my feet could be where they're supposed to.
There you go.
Yeah. It had nothing to do with y'all. It was all about me. It was a selfish buy.
I learned a whole lot more about Kevin Hart after reading
Call
his
him
book.
Little Kev the bastard.
Little Kev the bastard. Now
Why
we
you
know.
call him Little Kev the Bastard?
That
you
was
read the book,
originally his name.
That was his first comedy name. Sounds like a Philly battle rapper. But
It definitely has nothing that says success in it. Nothing that says I'm gonna make it.
can you tell the people why you a Little Kev the bastard?
Lil Kev the Bastard. That's the name that was my first name in stand-up comedy that one of my friends came up with because when I was gonna start performing. He was like, "You need a name, man." I was like, "What you talking about?" He said, "You can't just go up there like that." He said, "You need a name," and it was based off of at the time the comedians that were popping. Like that was like with Bruce and Earthquake and all of those guys were real big. He's like, "You need something that people can remember you by." And we were in the car. He was like, "The Bastard." The Bastard. Like that's honestly how he said it. And I was like, "What? The Bastard." And I was like, "What you talking about?" He said, "The Bastard. Just be the bastard." And we kept going back and forth. And he was like, Lil Kev the Bastard. So my friend came up with it. And we were in the car and they started announcing me. "Yo, coming to the stage, Lil Kev the Bastard." And I was getting all hype. I was like, okay, all right. I feel like it's dope.
You didn't think that there was an old dirty out there already? There was already a bastard in the game?
I didn't, you don't think when people give you a name like that, you caught up in the moment, Charlamagne. You don't become a negative Nancy. All right, you go with the flow.
There's room for more than one bastard in the game.
Well, at that point in time, I thought I was the only one.
But what happened to the name, though? What happened? Why did you stop?
I realized it had nothing to do with what I was talking about.
Okay.
There was nothing that went with the bastard at all.
Now there was one disappointment.
Hold his book up. Let us prop it up in the
I bought
interview.
y'all the ones with the
Audiobook?
the cases and stuff.
Oh, that's
Just
nice.
sit it standing up.
Okay.
Product
The
placement
only
is important.
disappointment
There
I
you go.
had was there was one job that I really wish you would have done
What is that?
that you rehearsed for. And I was
Stripping.
like, this would have been epic.
Yeah, I was gonna be a stripper.
He was going to be a stripper.
You were going to be a stripper?
I was gonna be a
Yes.
stripper,
Little
brother.
stripper bastard?
Back
Now
was
that would have
against
been
the
great
wall.
material.
Back was against the wall, man.
Yeah, I didn't.
Literally.
I get why these girls start dancing.
Yeah, I
get it.
didn't want to bring that up because I wanted people to read the book, but yeah.
No, read it. It's in
Yeah.
there, man. Look,
Yeah.
this is me in community college. Money is dry, and I was dealing with this girl, and this chick, she was like, "You know what you should do? You should start dancing."
Dancing.
Yeah.
What was the stripper name?
Huh? What was gonna be my stripper name?
Yes.
We didn't get that far.
Oh, okay.
We didn't get. We got far enough for me to think about a routine that I should do. Like we got far enough for her to give me advice on a routine, and she got some outfits. And she was like, "Dude, this is what you gotta wear." And that's when I started getting skeptical. When she was like, "This is what they wear." She had brought in one of these things that hold your that hold your balls together. So
Like
you
the
stay.
sock thing?
I don't know what it was. And you just put it around your balls. She was like, "This way you stay right." And I was like, "I don't know about all this. Yeah, I'm young. I'm like, I don't really know about this." She was like, "I'm telling you." I was actually putting it down on this girl, by the way, too. So low key, she might have been trying to pimp me.
She
now
did
that you
pimp
say
you.
it.
She was trying to pimp
Yeah,
you.
She knew what she was working with.
Yeah, she might have definitely tried to throw me out there to make some money, but at the time I didn't think of it like that.
You had a dancing partner and everything.
We was going.
A dancing partner?
I convinced my boy that he should do it too.
Wait, both of y'all were going to
No,
dance
by
with
the
each
way,
other?
I didn't want to go in there
crazy.
blind. I didn't want to go in there blind, man.
You tell a story about how y'all both went in the room and y'all had baby oil. I was
We had-
wondering,
listen.
did y'all help each other put the baby oil on?
No.
Okay.
This was just us
awkward.
too. Oh, brother, it ain't awkward. It's real. I was 18, and I was like, "Yo, dude." She said we can make money. Rent and everything was bad. She said we can go somewhere where ain't nobody gonna see us. He's like, "You sure, man?" I was like, "Dude, ain't nobody gonna see us." The way she talking, like we gonna clean up. It's just a bunch of big girls. She said,
bunch of big
she's like
girls.
a bunch of big girls. So she said she'll show us, help us out. So we she had us in the living room. She was like, "Y'all just got to get a dancing routine." So the stools was supposed to be the girls. and we in the living room.
What was
and
the song?
They had
My
the
song
classic,
Genuine Pony.
Genuine
classic
Pony.
Genuine
song.
The
Pony.
classic Genuine Pony.
Genuine Pony is what I was gonna go with. So I was working on a routine. This is a true story on my mother. And Genuine Pony's playing, and while I'm trying to get my routine together, my boy Ted and my brother and them came in. They came to my brother always had a key, so he just came in. They hear the music, and they see my boy.
You and your boy half naked.
Baby oiled up.
We just had jeans on. We had our shirts off,
And
right?
bow ties.
So we in there with oil on, dancing, music blasting. My brother's like, "What the fuck is going on?" hey, there was nothing that you could say. Even though in my mind it's justified, there was nothing I could say to my brother
At that moment.
In that moment,
Yeah.
I'm like, yo. I tried to just say, yo, wait till we done this routine. I'm almost at the end, but that's when I was like, nah, man, I can't do this. My brother, man, you stupid. He said, you better take them goddamn lumps.
I respect it though because you was in Philly. You could have sold dope. You could have freaking went to rob a store.
I wasn't gonna do that. I wasn't gonna go that route.
Yeah.
The only reason why I was even interested in doing that, because she had me so sold on the fact, she was like, because you small, them big girls gonna love you. She was like, I'm telling you. she had me so sold. I'm not even lying. You see, I'm being 100%
Right.
honest. Like there's no room for error in this story to tell a lie. Like it was literally me. My back was against the wall, and I'm like, yo, I gotta figure it out, man.
So you
not
would do
slinging
Magic
drugs,
Mike
I'll
3
sling
if
some
it was
dick.
presented to you.
No. And just for the record, I wanted to be clear. I never hit a stage. I never even walked
Never went
in
that far.
to a strip club. It was in my living room as far as it went. And I never even put on the bottom. I never even put
So
on
you were
the outfit.
naked on the bottom?
No, I was just had jeans on. I had my jeans on. We had our shirts off. We was going over the routine.
Okay.
And she was telling us about the things to put on. Like that's when the information was throwing us off. And she's like, we don't even know if y'all can dance. Let me see
Right.
what the
Your
dancing
life
would look
could have
like.
been so different if you would have hit that stage.
Oh, if I could have hit the stage, well, who knows?
You coulda
Chocolate
got
dropper.
You could have been
Chocolate
addicted.
dropper.
So
Chocolate have a whole new meaning.
the real chocolate dropper.
Now,
Ladies and
Charlamagne,
gentlemen, y'all ready to get dropped off?
now, Charlamagne told us a story last week. We were talking about the book, about how you walked in on a comedian jerking off.
Not just any comedian.
Not just any comedian, one of the best to do it, man. Patrice O'Neal.
Yes,
So
right.
what did you say to
R.I.P.
him
Patrice.
when you walked in?
Dude, that's why. Listen, people, this is what this book is
You gotta
full
get
of.
the
This
book, man.
This story right here is legendary. Okay, Patrice O'Neal. He comes to L.A. Patrice needed to stay. He needed a place to stay.
Right.
So at the time I was living in L.A., I had a 2-bedroom apartment. Me and my ex, we were staying in the apartment, but we had a guest room, so we would let people stay in the guest room. Patrice comes, he's staying there. I'm like, dude, you come and go as you want. Hey, go to Key. It's Patrice. It's my old head.
Right.
Whatever you need, Patrice, I got you. So me and my ex, we're out. Like we're just out and about during the day, and she's like, all right, well, I'm gonna go hang with my girls. I was like, all right, well, you go ahead. I'm gonna go back to the crib. So I'm not thinking about Patrice or whatever, and if he is home, it doesn't matter. So I walk in and it's quiet. Like it's literally just quiet. I'm like, yo, Patrice, you here? Like I don't hear nothing, right? So I go in the back, just in that back room where he is. Open the door, he's in front of I had a big laptop. So, Patrice is big.
Right.
Patrice is in front of the laptop, and I'm like, yo, what you doing, man? He like yo, when a person turn over to look over their shoulder, but they don't move their body like something weird. He's like, yo, give me a second. And I was like, what you doing? He's like, come on, man, give me a second. And he moved, and I saw baby oil on the top. I was like, what? Yo, you watching porn? I see. And then he had, Patrice is huge, so his little arm on the other side was in front of him. I was like, you getting down? I was like, oh, come on, man. He's like, come on, man, I didn't know you was going to be home, man. He's like, so I go and close the door. And 2 minutes go by, he come back out. First of all, he's disgusting because he finished. When I close the door,
He
ruined the whole
I closed
flow.
the door
Yeah.
and he finished doing whatever he was doing, and he came back out. He's like, yo, I didn't expect you to be back. Normally you guys don't come back until late evening. I thought I had some me time. He said. He said if there's anything I could do, he gave me $100. This is real. So he's like, that's just for the inconvenience. I was like, man, I want your money. The fact that I saw you jacking off is just disgusting to me, man. I said, and you finished? He's like, well, it was a good you actually should see this scene. Patrice, he was a favorite guy. Like, you know how the guys would save scenes?
Right. Yeah.
Patrice had scenes just saved all on my laptop. Like, by the time he moved, like his favorite sections. And
Oh, it was on your laptop.
it was my laptop. It was my computer.
The
desktop.
best part about that story
My
is he
desktop.
asked you not to tell nobody, and you said no. As your friend, I'm going to tell everybody.
I'm going to tell, well, now, this is what he would want. Patrice is in heaven smiling right now. He would want me to tell his story. I know Patrice. Patrice is one of the biggest, best assholes you'll ever meet. And this is what we did. So I told the story because that's a moment that I had with a legend. And in that moment, you know, that's the one thing that I had on him. That's my one, I got you.
Right.
I got you good. But I never said nothing. Well, no, that's a lie. I told the comedians. We trashed him at a table one time. And his whole response was, y'all act like y'all don't do it. He was like, we do, but not in other people's homes.
Somebody else's house.
Not especially not when we know they coming in and out.
Did you use that computer after? Because it had to have some jizz, a little oil.
I'm not even gonna lie, brother. I probably didn't clean that computer. You don't think about that stuff. I'm not. Look, I would love to tell you I'm the cleanest guy in the world. I didn't think about that too long after. Been typing away. I probably got everything on my hands right now.
Yeah.
Tell you what, you lose my laptop, you stupid. My laptop probably got everything on it. Don't use mine. Don't ever use my laptop,
My
brother.
DNA.
Now, I talked to you yesterday at BookCon. So there's a couple questions I asked you yesterday I got to ask you now because people want to know.
Uh-oh.
Why are you writing a book now? Why not?
am I writing a book now? Same that I told you yesterday. Why not? I got too much information, man. Too much information. Too much knowledge. Too many stories that I can tell that can be of use to others. I'm not selfish with information in any way, shape, or form. I think information is key, especially when you're talking about success. So, you know, a lot of wrongs that I've done, a lot of mistakes that I've made, I think can be valuable to other people to know which directions that they should or shouldn't go into. At the end of the day, I think you need that. You need, you know, people that can give you direction on whatever journey it is that you're going through. And you can take that information and put it to use. I didn't have as much as I wanted to when I was coming up, and I think that was a good thing. That's why a lot of the mistakes that I made. But now that I've learned and that I understand, I'm in a position to give people a different piece of knowledge. And that's what the book is about, man. It's about sharing this information so you can help people, you know, that are aspiring to be whatever it is that they want to be in life. Understand that there's a will and there's a way, as long as you're determined to do it.
It seems like you also learned a lot writing this book because you got to sit down with your dad and ask him some questions that you might have never known the
That's
answers
what I want to
to.
interview. I'm not even going to lie to you.
Hey, you talk to
Your
my
dad
dad if you want to, brother.
your dad is really the star of this book.
Hey, you better get that dump button ready. Hey, you talk to my dad if you want to, man. You know, it's crazy because when me and my dad were talking and just going through everything, the stories, you know, my dad was getting mad. He was getting mad because you're pulling stuff that he doesn't want to remember, you know, that he doesn't want to think about. And the fact that I'm laughing about it is what was making him mad. You know, he's like, dude, you know, to you, it's a joke. And I'm like, it's not a joke. I'm just in a position where I can laugh at the stupid shit that you did. You know, it doesn't affect me. I'm fine. You know, I made it. I said, your other son is fine. I said, you're upset because of the mistakes you made. So you're mad at you.
Right.
You're not mad at me laughing. You're mad at you because now you're in a sober state to look at the things you did.
You're making
and
him
go,
reflect.
Yeah,
Right.
and that's where we got into it a couple times. But, you know, overall, he's fine, you know. But when you say he's the star of the book, he's the star of my life.
Right.
Because if you look at the bulk of the stories, if you look at the bulk of the crazy things that I talk about, it stems from my dad being a part of it in some way, shape, or form. If you look at me and my mom and us going through things, if you go through my stand-up, my dad's interaction when he wasn't in the house, and when he came to get us, and my mom not wanting him there, all of that stuff is real. Like, me talking about my dad stealing a dog in this book, my dad stole a grown dog.
From where?
Just from the neighbor, man. Like, you ain't really have neighbors in the hood. Like, you knew people, but you ain't call them neighbors. It was whoever's on the block. It was like people that lived like 3 blocks down. He just took their dog and brought it home. He's like, y'all been asking for a dog, there you go. And the people came to the house and they're like, yo, y'all took our dog. My
dog for 5 minutes.
My dad looked him in the eye. No, he didn't. They called the dog. The dog come running to him. And he's like, well, how am I supposed to know that's your dog? And they're like, just what are you talking about? You took the dog. And me and my brother was like, Dad, I thought that was our dog. Y'all get another one. But he just shrugged it off. Like, drugs put you in a position where you shrug it off. Ain't no big deal. We'll find another one.
He let you drive a boat.
Let me crash a boat.
Yeah.
I felt bad that your mom wouldn't let you have nothing.
Huh? Well, what do? If you my mom, know, you got to put yourself in her position. She let my older brother have everything, and he went down the wrong road. So her thing was, With him, I'm not gonna let him do nothing. I'm gonna make sure I'm right there. I had a babysitter until I was 14, 15.
But I meant the stolen items from your pops. Like anytime.
Man, she ain't let me have none of that.
Yeah.
No. My dad used to come with toys with no bags, no cases. Mm-hmm. My dad bought me a bunch of He-Man. You remember He-Man?
Yep.
He-Man, G.I. Joes, but they were all out the packaging.
In a garbage bag out here.
None of them, brand new. None of them had packaging in a garbage bag. Hey man, this for that boy. My mom was like, you ain't bringing that hot stuff in here. Why you assume it's stolen? My mom, she was like, show me a receipt. My dad, I ain't gonna do this. I ain't got time. He never show a receipt.
So why the puppies on the cover? Why the puppies on the cover of the book?
I told you why the puppies are on the cover, because it's genius.
He didn't see you on Kimmel.
What do you think of puppies? When you see puppies, what do you say?
Cute.
That's right. Me with puppies is cuter. Okay? You want to see a puppy, you want to pick a puppy up, you want to grab it. So if I put puppies and me on a book cover, what do you want to do to that book? You want to go grab that book and you want to hold it. Hence, you're going to take it home. It all makes sense. Okay. You got to break it down. It's genius. Okay?
Got it.
Not everybody can pull off puppies on the cover.
Okay.
My next book, I'm going to do kittens. I'm going to keep this thing going, all right?
Whose idea was this? This is your idea?
Yes, it was my idea, man. I'm going to do kittens on the next one. Okay. You got to understand. You got to understand how to break it down.
That's like a high conversation.
You got to understand how to break it down. What I love the most is that people are going to see different layers to who I am. Mm-hmm. Like, you know, granted, right now we're talking about the fun stuff in the book. You're talking about me telling the story about when I was about to strip, or, you know, me when I was coming up with the name Lil Kev the Bastard, when I started comedy, or, you know, my dad stealing the dog. But then there's some real, you know, deep stuff in there where you go into the depth of my relationship with my dad, of my feelings towards what my dad was doing when he was doing at the time. You know, my mom and me, when we butted heads, and how tough it got in that household at that time. My brother and how he stepped up to play a certain role in my life when it was important after he was gone. I mean,
you talk about domestic violence.
Domestic violence. Me and my ex-wife.
Yeah, being a possible alcoholic.
Yeah, that was a point in time where I had to check myself and say, yo, are you an alcoholic? Are you becoming an alcoholic? There's just so many different things where I've seen myself grow from the experiences that I've made, from the good and the bad. And I think people need to understand that nobody in life is flawless. Nobody is perfect. You know, perfection is something that really exists when you're talking about individuals. It's impossible. You can try to be as perfect as you want, but ultimately you're going to come across mistakes. Right. You're going to come across flaws. And I think the real perfection is in perfecting your imperfections. That's how you get to a place to where you can ultimately be happy with who you are. And I think today, the man that stands before you today is a man that's done that. You know, I've corrected a lot of my wrongs, and I'm proud of myself for it, you know, because at the end of the day, you're your own competition. You're competing to be the best version of you that you possibly can. And I think that I'm putting myself in a position to be the best version of myself. My best father, entertainer, you know, businessman, everything.
That's what made me appreciate the book even more, because when you talk about, you know, fighting with your ex, or even the situations when you were drunk before you caught the DUI and having accidents, you don't have to share that kind of stuff, especially now. You a brand, you doing cartoons.
Yeah.
Like, did you had no reservations about sharing that kind of information? Like, it could affect your money now?
Well, no. I mean, you know, now you're not going to, I can affect my money because I'm in control of it. I'm my own man. So when you say you're a brand, I am a brand. I'm in charge of my brand. Right. The partnerships that I have with my corporate, you know, partners are partnerships. We're in it together, and it's because I can stand 50-50, and I bring as much as you bring to the table. We're equal. But once again, I'm not in this position if I don't go through the BS that I'm talking about there. So, you know, me talking about the DUI or the drinking and the driving, you know, I'm putting those stories in there because people don't realize the real consequences behind it. Remember I told you yesterday, Charlamagne, I was like, it's very easy, but no, I'm good. I ain't drunk, I'm good. Because you got balance. I ain't drunk, I'm good, I'm straight. You know, you done took however many shots we done took, but it's very easy to get in that car. I was that guy. No, I'm good. Come on, we out. And I'd make it home. I'd drive home without a problem. But you get comfortable with doing that. And then when I got the DUI, I realized if I were to get in an accident, if this were to be tragic, how many people fall down because of my ignorance, my quick mistake, from the wife, from the kids, from within my company, the people that work for me, from the brands that have put so much on the table to go behind what it is that I'm saying and doing. Yo, everything collapses off of a bad judgment. I said, why am I living to make an easy wrong? Right. I was like, just go ahead and get rid of that. Let's X that out. Me and my ex-wife, when it got violent, were we fighting? Wow, am I really fighting? Am I holding my hands up as if she's a man right now? Mm-hmm. Oh my God. Yo, I'm out. I really got my hands up to not defend but counter. Like, I'm waiting for you to throw a punch. 'Cause I'm about to counter the shit out of you. I'm really like I'm that upset to where I got a stance. Like when you get in the stance, that's when I check myself. Like, you can say what you want. All this comedy stuff is great. I can throw my hands. I'm from the shoulders. I can throw my hands. I'm telling you right now. That's for anybody. Anybody out there that will ever get it misconstrued, no way, shape, or form, am I a killer thug? I can throw my hands. All right. Me and my ex got into it, and I took a stance. Like, okay, like I'm waiting because I was going to dip and bow, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm gone. Like, I'm lost. At what level of anger am I at that I've gotten here? I was like, I'm all right, Kev. You're gonna take responsibility. Whether she did whatever she did, you got to start taking responsibility. And when I started doing that, that's when I started to grow. That's when I started to get better. But it took me a second to do that because every man, your pride doesn't let you do that. As a man, that's our biggest weapon is your pride. Right. My pride ain't gonna let me say I'm wrong. I ain't got no problem. Shut up. You was drinking too. Yeah. Shut up. We was all drinking. Yeah, but you drove. Shut up. You don't drive. You gonna justify it however you want to. So when I stopped justifying, that's when I started to get smarter. And as I got smarter, the business got better. As the business got better, the brand got bigger. It all goes together, man. And that's what I'm talking about when I say information. This is information that I'm sharing to simply show that the person that you see is human. Remember I talked about that yesterday. I'm human. Make mistakes. I've made them. I'm probably going to make some more in life, but understand that I'm human. I'm not sitting in front of you as a robot or somebody that doesn't do the things you do. Ultimately, we're all people. We're all individuals.
Now, yesterday, Bill Cosby was in court, and he mentioned that he was kind of upset that a couple comedians didn't necessarily support him, and you were one of them. Mm-hmm.
Will you be stopping by the show?
He said that I didn't support him. He said
didn't
that?
say your name.
Oh, I was about to say what?
He didn't say his name.
He mentioned a couple of comedians.
He said Chris Rock.
Sources are saying.
He didn't say your name.
Okay. Well, Jesus Christ.
Where is Kevin Hart?
He's like, what? Did you see my whole face now? Wait, what is that? I don't even have a relationship. Why do you say?
Bill Cosby said, I'm in Philly. Where's Kevin Hart with the support?
Will you be stopping by to show support?
Well, here's the thing. I'll be honest with you. I don't think comedians are going to bring to justice whatever it is that he's looking for. I think overall, just the support and knowing that within the legacy that he's built is what's important to him and what should be. As a comedian, I can say that Bill Cosby has done so much for comedy, and I can say that what is going on with him now is such a tough thing because it tarnishes the reputation of what America's favorite dad was. And that's unfortunate. It's unfortunate, but without me knowing all the ins and outs of this case, and of course you're innocent until proven guilty, it's a tough position to stand in front of because wrong is wrong and right is right. So if there is a situation where he is wrong, he will be remembered as that instead of this. Right. But as a comedian, I'm a storyteller because of Bill Cosby, because of Eddie Murphy, because of Pryor. When you look at those guys, they did it to the best of their ability, and for the generations to come behind them, they were our influences. Gotcha. So Bill Cosby plays a major influence, but I can't step into that realm because that realm is such a messy realm right now, and you don't know what you're stepping up for.
You're like, I wasn't around.
Truth.
Yeah, like you don't know. Like I don't want to put myself in a position where I'm speaking on behalf of a man where there's such a plethora of people that are just.
He possibly could have raped those women.
It's possible. Yeah. And when that's a possibility and it's something like that, it's different if we're talking about something else. We're talking about rape. Right. That's a tough thing.
That's a prime example of trying to appear too perfect.
100%.
You know what I'm saying?
100%.
Now you know all about the Bill Maher and Kathy Griffin situations.
Yeah.
Do you think comedians have a license to say anything?
Or do anything?
No. I curb myself. I curb myself now simply because it's a different day and time. And you can play the freedom of speech thing all you want. We can play we're comedians, it's a joke thing all you want. Ultimately, we know what we're saying, and the backlash that can come from it. There was a point in my time in stand-up where I was using slander to talk about homophobia. Mm-hmm. And at that point in time, nobody would say anything. It didn't come off offensive. Mm-hmm. It wasn't a big deal. But today, people are speaking up to the point where they take those words as serious as we take racial slurs. Mm-hmm. So ultimately, I can't expect you to respect me if I'm saying things that don't respect you. Mm-hmm. And just because I have the title of a comedian doesn't justify the things that I'm doing or that I'm saying. Just because we can shoulder shrug it as a joke. In Kathy Griffin's case, what she's doing it's a bad judgment of a joke. When that comes, you got to understand social media is a different monster. Mm-hmm. Before, people could whisper and talk about what you did and it wouldn't get to you. But now it's tagged and shared and shared, and by the time you know it, now you in Hong Kong, you in Russia, and people that saw what you did, these things go viral. And that word viral is a virus.
That's it.
Viral is a virus. You
will be sick.
Yes, you're going to be, the backlash from it is going to be serious backlash. Now, Bill Maher, I've seen Bill Maher come to the defense of black people on several occasions. That's a bad judgment. Granted, I don't think Bill Maher's a racist, but that's a bad judgment.
It was just inappropriate.
White people can't say nigga.
Like,
you should know better.
It's inappropriate and it's not right. So to say that and say it the way you said it, as comfortable as you said it in a joking form, you're wrong. Now, granted, you can issue all the apologies you want. He says it, he says it around friends. It's not something that he's not going to say anymore. But for you to say it on your platform, that's tacky. Right. That's tacky. Like I would never on stage. You're not going to hear me go the cracker or the hunky. I'm not going to do it.
I do on the radio all the time.
I'm not going to do it.
I love seeing crackers.
I'm not going to do it. I'm telling you, I get it. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it because of the relationships that I have, because of the people that I'm around, because of the platform that I stand on. So I'm conscious of that now. The same thing with any homophobia slander, or the same thing with just attacking political figures or whatever. I'm not going to do it because I know the impact that my words have because of my following, because of my brand. So those people know that. Right. Kathy Griffin, Bill Maher, you know that. You know that you got a following. You know that you don't have a little following, that when you say these things, especially if you're saying it on your platform, they're going to be heard. Mm-hmm. So for Bill Maher to say that there, that was tacky.
Bill had great comedic timing in that moment, though.
Hey, man, listen, I'm not going to go and break the joke down. I'm not going to. The level of comfort, like the shoulder shrug of it, I was like, oh,
I'm a house nigga.
Yeah, I was like, come on, man. And then like, he, like, the cockiness afterwards, how he flagged it off, like, nah, that's just what she is. Like, I was like, oh, that's bad. That's bad.
Now, one of the main takeaways I got from the book was about perspective.
Yes.
A lot of things that happen in life, you could look at it in one way or you could look at it in another way. You could take the positive out of it and make it funny and make it something that you could learn from, or you could just be negative. And it feels like that's something that has been with you since you were young.
Well, I mean, listen, like life lessons. If you look at the title of the book, is I Can't Make This Up, and then it's Life Lessons by Kevin Hart. The best way to break it down is that your life is a book. Your life is a book. You got different chapters in your life. Ultimately, you're going to get to the end of your book. However you want that book to end is up to you. Are you learning from the chapters? Are you taking the positives out of the negatives to make the next chapters better? Or are you the type of person that can finish each chapter on a negative and shoulder shrug it? Ultimately, you're in control of that. So when you talk about the life lessons, there's several life lessons. I mean, as funny as me putting myself in a situation to possibly almost strip is, there's a lesson in that. Mm-hmm. Like, as crazy as it was, desperation was in, and I was about to go to the ultimate route of desperation. Mm-hmm. And it took somebody going, man, what the hell are you doing? Right. My brother, what are you doing? Stupid? What are you doing? No, man, you ain't about to do that. Go out there and just take your lumps. You'll figure it out. You ain't about to do this. Not my brother. Yeah, it took somebody checking me to make me go, all right, it ain't that bad to struggle. I thought if you was struggling, that's bad. Because what else you do? Man, go struggle. Go get your dumb ass out there. It's a lesson within the attempt to find an easy route. You know, I wanted a quick fix. How do I get some quick money in my pocket? Like, all right, I'm about to show what I got to do. That's how I get it? What I got to do?
All you have to do is read the Bible, man.
Better to show your dick than suck one.
Hey, brother, that's not even an option. Listen, I don't even know how that got out there. That's not even a possibility. All right, if it get that bad, somebody done did something to me. Y'all better, hey, look, you better check something in my veins. Something flowing through my veins if it ever got there. But the life lesson within that moment was there is no win in the quick route.
Right.
Everybody wants that quick route. Everybody wants to, well, I'm going to go straight when I can zigzag real quick and get there at the same time. There's nothing wrong with taking a longer route. There's nothing wrong with grinding. There's nothing wrong with actually working and getting a little dirty and getting some lessons from the dirt that you now got on your hands. And that's what a lot of those moments are about, man. There's a life lesson in any and everything that I've done. Any and everything that I've done. Like from the domestic shit, from the divorce, from the relationship with the dad, my mom, me now as a parent, why I stand where I stand with my kids today is because of how my dad was with me. If my dad wasn't that parent that missed and made mistakes, I wouldn't be as on point as I am because you wouldn't realize how important it is to do and be those places that you normally wouldn't think to do and be. I got to fly back to L.A. on the 6th. I got to do press, interview, press TV. I got to get on the plane, fly, land at my daughter's graduation. I'm going to be there for an hour so my baby can see me, so I can hug her, give her a kiss, some flowers. Then I got to go right back to the airport, get back on the plane so I can go back and be back where I just came from for the next morning to do TV.
So you in the middle of your book tour, you flying back to L.A. on the day your book come
out. For an hour. And this little girl ain't even because all friends gonna be around, so I know I'm gonna get mad.
Right.
Because she's not even gonna realize what I did. So I'm gonna get a hug. Dad, okay, wait, I gotta go for Parker's over there. Okay. All right, baby. I spent $50,000 real quick just to go back and forth because I gotta get back. But give me a hug. I love you. Because I understand how important that is.
Right.
So it's not even a question. It's not even a hypothetical. So the things that I do to break my neck are because he didn't break his neck the same way, but I don't fault him for that. I now know what I'm supposed to do so my kids don't have the same feeling.
Did you just say you spent $50,000?
I fly private.
That's all I know.
Well, let me ask you a question. You and Jay
That's
fly
a bow wow on
to
the
the
plane.
Hold on. You and Jay fly to the
See, I
game.
just didn't just look up to him.
You and Jay fly to the game, the first game,
Yeah.
NBA Finals.
Yeah.
Who pays for the jet?
Jay did. Actually, let me tell you how cool I was with that move. I knew I was about to call. To get my plane, and I was like, "Wait, Hov probably going to the game. It's game 1. I know he in town. Let me call Hov first." And I hit him with the, "Yo, Hov, what up?" He's like, "What up? What you doing?" He's like, "Nothing." "Cool. What you doing about this game? You going to the game?" He's like, "Come on, man. You know I am. I heard that. Who you probably taking what? B with you? You probably got a bunch of people on the plane." He's like, "Nah, ain't a lot of us." "All right, I'm coming with you." once I heard the door open, "I'm getting on with you. Then I see you there. Just give me the flight
You
info."
don't ask you for gas money or nothing?
No, that was
Gas
his.
money.
He was going already. That's the rule. He was going already.
Do you have to put on a show while you on the plane?
Nope.
Like you
He was going already. That's it. With or without me, this plane was going there.
Does that mean when you leave, you have to leave with him exactly?
No, I was staying because I had to go from there to my book tour. But it would be the same thing vice versa. If he was going anywhere and he was like, "Yo, you going back tonight?" And I was like, "Yeah, you get on the plane." No matter what, we don't use all the seats on those planes. You're on there because you can be by yourself with your people.
Now, how much you spend a year on private
Hey, brother,
jets?
we don't need to get into that. We don't need to get into that. It's not. Understand, it's not a excessive expense just because it's a necessity for me because of my schedule. So
Right.
I'm not just taking it because like I literally have to get to and from in times where commercial flights can't take me. Like this interview's at 6 a.m. If I was to fly from L.A.,
Yeah.
you know, you got to leave late that night. But what if I got stuff late that night, which I would? Then I got to figure out a time to leave at 1 a.m. or something so I can get here by this time. All right, but I got to be in Detroit at X, Y, and Z amount of time. So
Hey,
the
we're not
commercial
faulting you
flights
for
are
your
doing
private
that. I'm just
jet.
telling you that.
You
No, I'm just.
every
But I want people to
$1.
understand. I want people to understand. Like it's everybody wants to floss with that. It's not a flossing thing. It's actually a schedule thing. It fits for me because of my schedule. That's
Now,
why.
you got a term in the book I've never heard before. and I love it. It's a passion-centered competitiveness.
There you go, brother. I want you to say that again because that's good writing.
Passion-centered competitiveness.
That's called good writing.
What is that?
Passion-centered competitive. It's a competitiveness within your love, within your will, your want to do what it is that you're doing. You know, I think if you are putting yourself in a position to win on any level, there's a high level of passion that should go into that. There's a high level of aggression, you know, that should be put into that craft because you want to win. You want to be competitive with you, not with other people around you, just within accomplishing a high goal within that realm that you're now entering. You know, I don't understand how people are just content, you know, when they do things. I don't understand how people sign up to do stuff and they're okay and content with doing it at a base level.
I agree.
I that's something that I can't grasp that concept. I don't know how you say, yo, I wanna do this right here, but I'm just gonna do it regular. I don't wanna do it great.
No.
I just want to do it regular.
That's a lesson you learned early on, though, because you kind of used to be like that when
Yeah.
you were younger.
I was swimming. That's what swimming did. I was on a swim team all of my damn youth. I was on a swim team. And I didn't.
You could have been in the movie Pride.
Yo, first of all, not only could I have been in the movie Pride, I was pissed off because they didn't even know that I was on the swim team. That's where I was in my career at that point. They
How you
didn't
get
even
on
know.
the swim team?
It was the one activity that was away from the streets, and it took up all your time.
Yeah.
That's when my mom signed me up for swimming. You had practices before school, you had practices after, but everybody on this swim team were overachievers, man. I never met a more amazing group of kids. Like you don't like right now that my kids are in school, I understand where I was back then because you see how passionate certain kids are about effort and education and learning and just like my daughter's unbelievable. No, Dad, I don't want to do anything. I got to do my homework and study because we have a test coming up, but I just want to be prepared. Like she's so much better than I ever was in school. I thought she wasn't my baby for a little bit because I was like, I don't know where she's getting this from. But in swimming, all of these kids were overachievers, man. They were great. They all got scholarships. They all went on to swim at a higher level, to go and go to Ivy League schools. I mean, it was, when I say I was the only one, it was me and my friend Chris Perry. Chris, if you listening, shout out to you. Me and Chris were okay with losing and not doing anything. Like, we were like, man, we cheating. We ain't going, but hey, you want to stay in the locker room for a little bit? They doing the long laps today. Let's cheat. Me and Chris would cheat every day, and it didn't hit us until the end of swimming came and they giving out the awards, and we the only dudes in the back not getting awards. I got a participant award. A
For his
participant.
attendance.
You might have got the original participation trophy.
It was a real attendance award because my mom she never let me miss a day. So it was participant. Kevin is an amazing participant.
But that helps you now, though. I mean, you don't really miss anything.
It helped me because I realized I put 12 years. Right. I mean, I was 9 or 10, so I put 15, 16 years in the swimming. 15, 16 years in the swimming, and I got nothing to show from it on the swimming
15
side.
15 years in the swimming?
Dude, I swam from 9
to 9 to
till high school, to the end of high school. Every
But
day.
you said the movie Pride was based on.
It was based
that
on a swim team.
Yeah.
It was a Philadelphia Department of
He could've been-
Recreation.
I read that in the book. I'm like, why
Black
didn't they
swim
have a
team.
Kevin Hart character in there?
Well, Kevin Hart wasn't a character. Kevin Hart, let me tell you something. Like, you know, there was people like every swim meet, like when swimmers got up, like everybody would stand up in the stands, and you know, like our team was the best. We were the best. All black swim team, killing. Guys went on to make the Junior Olympics. I mean, Olympic trials. Like we had people competing on the highest levels, and everybody would always stand up to watch everybody swim. When I got up there. All right, everybody said that's Kev, man.
Yeah, ain't
no sense to do. Ain't no sense to get up.
Ain't no action.
What Kev gonna do. We know what Kev gonna do. I would lose and be all right. Yeah, I'm cool. So what? hey, attitude was horrible. But after doing that and really reflecting on how many years I put into that, that's why I now understand. Like, no, you don't get a part 2. I did a part 1, and I see the consequences of that. There will never be a part 2.
Right.
That's why I don't know how to half-ass anything.
Now your wife is pregnant now.
Yeah,
Congratulations.
man, I got a little baby on the way. Boys can still swim. That's right. they still swimming. I got a little boy on the way, man.
Congratulations.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Excited about it. She's excited.
How is she?
She's
with the
happy as
pregnancy?
hell. You know what? No sicknesses. No sicknesses. Not eating crazy. I mean, I know we early on. She's 4.5 months now, but it's like no binging. You know, she ain't mood swinging, isn't crazy. So I'm happy about that. But I got her mom like ready to come out when it happens.
Okay.
So I'm not gonna feel none of that. Once it starts, I'm out.
You back on the road.
I'm out. As soon as I get a win, all right, let's get your mother out here. Make sure everything is all right. I just want to make sure you need a woman's touch. Yeah, get your mom out here with you.
Now hold on, no, but aren't those kind of the mistakes you made on your last relationship? Because
Brother,
you talk
don't
about how
need-
you was never
yeah,
there.
You don't need to correct that part. If a woman's
Okay.
going crazy with pregnancy, you don't. That's fine. All right, show up when it's over. When that's over.
Chemical. There's nothing you can.
Yeah,
really
there's
do
nothing
with
you
it.
can do with that.
Yeah.
But even though me and my ex, even when we went through it, you know, with the kids, I never missed anything. We were going through things, and when she was pregnant, that's when we had like some of our most craziest times. When she was pregnant with my son, and that's when I left. I was like, I'm out. I'm not about to let you, get angry enough to do something to the baby or hurt yourself to where it affects the child. So that was another time where I left. I'm telling you, you got to read the book.
It's great.
It's so honest. It's so honest and flawed. That's what I like about it.
No, it definitely. It's 3 relationships that definitely shaped your whole situation. It's your father, your mother, your ex-wife, and I say you got your work ethic from your mom, and you
100%.
got your funny from the relationship in the marriage and your father. So
Yes,
when it comes to
100%.
your success now, what do you think contributes more to your success? Your crazy work ethic or the funny?
I think the work ethic. You know, you can be as funny as ever and not have the work to go within the funny. You know, I mean, I know a lot of comics that are amazing, that are funny. I mean, God, that I watch and get mad that I didn't think of the things that they're saying, but you'll look and they've been doing that same set for years.
That's
You
real.
know, they've been doing that same material for years. The work ethic that goes into the funny is constantly recreating and coming up with new stuff, constantly finding ways to grow. So, right now, I mean, What Now has been out. I think What Now has been released on Netflix and internationally probably for like 4 months now. And I'm working on my next hour number 6, so I can go on tour in 2018. So I'm already creating the next hour. So by 2019, I got another special to drop, so my 2-year window doesn't fall off. I want to get to 10. George Carlin had 10 specials. I want to get to 10 specials when it's all said and done, but that's the work ethic that goes behind the funny. So I think the work is what's most important. I'm not afraid to put in the work. I'm not afraid to go back to ground zero. My ground zero is comedy clubs. I go back to comedy clubs and figure it out. And then after that, I go to smaller theaters. Then I say, oh, this is getting good. Then I go to smaller, like, arenas. Okay, then I go to real arenas, and then it'll go back to stadiums. But I go backwards so I can get forward again. I start all over every single time.
You know how many comedians I argue with about that? Because they've been doing the same routine for a long time. And I'm like, well, Kev does one every couple years.
When they'll say Kev Steele.
Yeah.
Kev Steele.
Kev Steele. Kev got writers.
Kev he got a whole bunch of stuff going on, man. Y'all don't know what he really doing, man. I just laugh.
Who
I laugh.
cares, though? Get the work done.
I
That's my
just
thing.
laugh, man. Listen, there is no individual that can stand on the platform and say he did it by himself.
Right.
If you are that person, then you're probably one of the most selfish people on this earth. You need a team. Zuckerberg came up with an amazing concept within Facebook, and a team of people at some point came in and helped him evolve into what he did. My guy Jack from Twitter created Twitter, and then a team helped him mold Twitter into what it was. Instagram, all of these things, Snapchat, all of the biggest things that you love, all of the things that we see, radio, TV, it's not one individual. Camera phones, you can have a concept, but a team of people help you do it. For me, where I stand, I'm proud to say that I got a team. I'm proud to talk about my guys that stand behind me and that are successful businessmen. I'm proud to say that my writers are now in the guild, that my writers get paid a great amount to punch up movie scripts. We sold and sell movie scripts now, from writing stand-up, from us evolving and developing me and my material and going back and forth and sitting in the room and coming up with stuff. As a team, we did that. But now, because of our efforts there, my team shines. Your judgment of where you really are in success is with the people that came up with you, where they stand.
Now, Kev got to go, guys. He got to go.
Yeah, I
get
see his team.
And let me
wrapping
just
up.
say where he's going to be at, because I have
Tell him
his,
where he's going to be at.
he has his book tour happening now.
That's right.
He'll be in Philly on Wednesday.
Break it down, Ish.
Right, at the Philadelphia Free Library. Then on Thursday, June 8th in D.C. at Politics and Prose.
I'm going there.
Then in Miami, Friday, June 9th at Books and Books.
I'll
And
be
then in Katy, Houston, Texas at Books a Million on Saturday,
go there,
June
too.
10th. June 11th, Minneapolis
I'm gonna go there.
at Mall of America. And in L.A., Monday, June 12th at Barnes & Noble at the Grove.
Listen, Kev is going to shut all of these places down. There's no way Kev is going to be allowed to be in these bookstores.
No, it's gonna be crazy.
It's impossible.
But that's what I want. I want sheer pandemonium. Pandemonium, man.
And let me shout out my book club, because this is the book in my book club that we are reading now, Kevin Hart.
It's a really great read,
can't make
man.
this
It's
up,
a really
life
great
lesson.
read.
Thank you. I heard your book club is amazing too.
Oh, yeah, it's really fun.
I'm
We're
serious.
excited for your book. It's
Thank
going to
you.
be great conversation based off of your experiences.
It really is. It
And
really is.
And I want to thank you for waiting 2 months until after my book came
Hey,
out.
brother.
You know,
First of all,
gave me a lot of room to breathe.
let me give my guy a shout out that he deserves, man. Shout out to you, not only for writing a book, but taking advantage of an amazing opportunity that you have. And I talked to him about this yesterday. I was like, dude, I said, that's something that you can embark on and go so far, because you're so opinionated on the radio. You're so firm within your stance of your feelings, your thoughts, and how you feel. Other people do that and have that, but you've taken that and transformed it into a book, man, that can go on to be so many books. So I applaud you on your efforts, dude.
Thank
I
you.
support you. If you haven't got my guy's book, make sure you go support it.
Black privilege. Kev
That's
definitely
right.
told me that yesterday, and then he goes, "But I'm gonna be number one."
There you
And
go.
I'm already working on number 2.
Yes.
Well, Kevin Hart, he will be in the strip club with me next week. He will be dancing. We'll work out the numbers later on. It's the Breakfast Club, Kevin Hart.
The Breakfast Club. Every weekday morning. Tune in.